Welcome to Cleaning Business TV. I'm David Luke, COO of Two Maids and a Mop, and with me as always is
Ron Holt, CEO and founder of Two Maids and a Mop.
Today we have an interesting, amazing, wonderful, thought-provoking topic.
All that.
Should your cleaning business require customer contracts?
Woo! When you say the word contracts, it does get a little sizzle.
Everybody loves to talk about contracts.
Gosh, I do too.
It's electric.
Yeah.
Really is.
Look at the likes. Wow.
What likes? Well, I don't know.
Likes.
So on the thing. I was like, I don't see any likes.
All right, move on to contracts. That's
Got it.
funny.
Contracts. Well, you know what the first thing is? You probably think, and we've heard this so many times, you need to have contracts with customers. You need to know how much, you need to have an idea of, where your money's going to be coming from. There's a safety net as a business owner that says, if I have so-and-so this many contracts, therefore I know what my income level is going to be. And that's the first thing you think, especially as a business owner. You think, yes, of course, I need contracts so that I can have, peace of mind, really. And I can go to sleep at night and think, I've got 200 recurring customers and I've got contracts on all those and they can't break them. And therefore, I'm going to sleep great tonight. Well, that's not always the case. The first, actually, is a legal issue. In some states, contracts or service agreements, as it were, are not enforceable by law. You could say, I have a 12-month contract or a 2-year contract or whatever it is, but that's not necessarily enforceable by law if you have a customer that says, well, I'm not paying anymore. Well, you're more than likely not going to win, especially in our state, our home state of Alabama. You'll never win in that. In our state, at least, a service agreement, because you can't bind somebody to that. But the big thing for us is basically our level of integrity for us contract. It comes down to, we want to be, as far as our company, we want to be people of our word. If we say that we're going to do something, if we say we're going to be there at this time, if we say that we're going to provide this service for this much, we want to do that because we're people of our word, and we want that to be just integrity based on us. There's a company out there that I love, and we talk about them often, even here on Cleaning Business TV.
Two Maids and a Mop? Is that the company you're talking about? No?
No.
Is that too easy?
It was too easy.
Okay.
It literally is on their shirt.
It should be a fastball.
No. It's Chick-fil-A.
It's not even a softball. I said I used the wrong word.
Softball, yeah, that's right. Chick-fil-A. For me, this was an interesting concept. I have a friend in the chicken business with Tyson Chicken. And I asked him one time.
It's such a foul business to be in, too.
Oh. Were you waiting for that?
No, but it's good.
Anyway, Tyson Chicken, I asked him one time, I said, does Chick-fil-A have contracts with their chicken providers? We've got to get through contracts.
I know, I'm silly.
This is going to be the funniest video we have, and it's going to be about contracts. I asked him, he's a provider, he's a chicken provider to Chick-fil-A, and so I asked him one time, I said, do you require contracts from Chick-fil-A? Because one thing I've always noticed about their product was it's always the same. They have the literally exact same piece of breast every time. I thought, this is like a miracle. They must have amazing contracts with their suppliers. So I asked him, I said, do you have contracts? He said, no, we do not. With Chick-fil-A, they believe in being people of integrity and a handshake and being people of their word. So he said, no, literally it was just a handshake. And they basically, that's how they do business. They don't necessarily need these contracts or those contracts in order to get the best piece of chicken. Now, this is not a plug for Chick-fil-A, even though it does sound like it, that they get the best pieces of chicken. But that was a big thing for us, to be a people of integrity. In our industry, because we're such a trust-based industry, we didn't want to bind people to contracts. We wanted people to be bound to us because we're people of integrity, because they can trust us. And that's a big question you're going to have to ask for your cleaning business. Do you want to lock people into a contract just because they've signed a piece of paper, or because they love doing business with you? And that's ultimately what we want as a business. We want customers that are devoted to us, not because they've signed a piece of paper, is because they have a great service, because they get professional responses, professional communication from us as a company, and there's not necessarily a need for contracts. So Ron, tell me a little bit about, as Ron founded the company, this was early in his DNA, even with starting.
Absolutely. Years ago, 11 plus years ago, when I started this business, everyone that I talked to in the industry said, you've got to do contracts. Actually, then contracts were more prevalent than they are today. I don't know what the mix might be today, but back then it was pretty close to 100% of the businesses, cleaning businesses across the country required contracts, at least the legitimate, established businesses. So I really went out there and said, guys, I'm not doing that. I just don't think a piece of paper should be the reason someone hires our company or sticks around with our service. It just didn't make any sense to me, because I know restaurants didn't force me to come back every Tuesday, and other companies didn't force me just because of a piece of paper. So why in the world would a cleaning business do it? It just made zero sense to me. And furthermore, I looked at it as a consumer. How would I respond to this contract if I were the customer? And I wouldn't necessarily appreciate it. Number one, I probably wouldn't even sign it. And then secondly, if I did sign it, I wouldn't honor it. And the truth is, today, we receive lots of new business simply because we don't have contracts. I mean, and I learned that early on. The minute I started telling everyone, hey, we don't require contracts. So that used to be a question everyone asked. Today, again, it's not quite as popular as it used to be, but early on, that was one of the, how much does it cost to clean my house, and do I have to sign a contract? Those are the two questions you heard. So when the answer to the second question was no, that in some cases was enough reason for someone to hire our company, and it still serves that purpose today. So, for part of the reason for that is just me internally. That's just not who I am. I don't want a piece of paper to be the reason you hire a company, hire a service. So that talks a little bit about why we started it and why we continue to enforce that rule today. So, it's really up to you, because there are people out there, and we know, David and I know we know mom and pop companies out there that have 5 customers, and we know CEOs of large corporations that have thousands of customers. Right. All across the country. So we talk to all sorts of different people, and we hear different answers on this topic all the time. And there's companies out there that have thousands of customers that actually require contracts today. And they would sit here and tell you that it's absolutely essential. But the truth is, how many of those contracts have they really enforced? Is it worth it? Is it worth that type of negative publicity? Is it worth that type of negative goodwill that you're going to create with a customer? Right. In our world, we don't think it is. We think it's a lot easier and a lot more important to establish a natural goodwill through just good service. Yeah.
And for us, I just want you to hear that as far as our DNA and how we are as a company, we want to be people of integrity. We want to say what we're going to do. We want to back it up with what we say. But we don't necessarily have to have that contract in place to do what we're going to say we're going to do. For us, it's been the backbone of our business. It's been the backbone of our culture. And it's been the backbone of at least 2 Maids and Mop that we're Maid Service we're talking about. We believe that tagline to the nth degree, that we want to be a company that people enjoy dealing with, that people love to talk about, and that people want to do business with. And so that for you, I mean, of course, you can, if you want to join 2 Maids and Mop and buy a franchise, we would more than welcome that.
In fact, what we'll do after you purchase that 2 Maids and Mop franchise for your local market, we'll actually teach you how to calculate your customer attrition rate. And that'll actually tell you whether or not contracts are that important or not. Because in our world, our attrition rate's extremely low.
Yep.
So that by itself kind of proves that we don't need written contracts, because historically, we don't lose customers.
That's right.
So we can teach you that. And attrition rates are fairly easy to find out there, but we can teach our own way of doing that. But, it's up to you. Every business is up to you, obviously. But in our world, contracts just make absolutely no sense.
That's right.
And hopefully that makes sense to you.
Yeah. So, thanks for joining us here on Cleaning Business TV, and we hope to see you next week.
All right, see you later.
Thanks.